So this is our Git hook virus blocker by Andrew Smith.
Beyond Capita.
Jeremiah Carr.
Nina Romero Fabian.
So for our domain requirements and project goals, our project introduces a Git pre-push virus scanner that analyzes all staged files and uses the VirusTotal API to prevent infected files from entering shared repositories. Its goal is to enhance security in development workflows by detecting malware early, blocking risky pushes, and maintaining a persistent, well-structured scan history. For some of our domain requirements, one of them is to prevent infected files from being pushed, reducing security risks in shared repositories. Another one is by using the VirusTotal API to analyze files with 70 plus antivirus engines and report detection counts. Third one would be to address the lack of automated malware prevention tools in standard Git workflows. And the fourth is to implement persistent scan history and a clean modular design using object-oriented principles and design patterns.
When it comes to how our project actually works, we have five core functions, which are the root of our project, and they are compute file, submit scan, poll scan, interpret scan, and should block. And all of these functions work together to create a working flow for our overall project, which then transfers into two main object-oriented designs, one being artifact hierarchy and the other being strategy pattern. With the artifact hierarchy, it uses polymorphism for classification processes. And so there are three classifications that we have, which are source code, binary, and manifest. And then for strategy, it is pretty much how it scans different files based on the file type and the output that the user sees based on the file. Lastly, we have composition of both of these, in addition with the API client that we use, VirusTotal, so that we have one complete and composed project.
For the challenges and limitations we had, one challenge was the API authentication issues. Um, we had a wrong header format for the VirusTotal API, and we solved this by changing it from authorization bearer to XAPI key header, an XAPI key header. And we learned that different APIs use different authentication methods. And for some current limitations, one limitation is that the new file scan has delays. The first scan of unknown files can take up to 1 to 5 minutes because the VirusTotal needs time to analyze the files, and this can slow down workflow for new files. And then another limitation is the API rate limits. The free tier is 4 requests per minute and 500 requests a day because the VirusTotal needs to protect their services, and this can't scan many files quickly. And then another limitation is the internet dependency. It requires an active internet connection to work, because the VirusTotal is cloud-based is a cloud-based API, and it won't work offline.
So here's a demo of the GitHook scanner in action. First, you have to run the virus scanner core. Then you have to run the scanner models. Once you're here, you can start staging any files you would like to commit. Here are some test files. Could do git add. Now that it's currently staged, you can run the run file. Once you run that, you get a history of whether or not the file is clean. As you can see here, it says that the file is already in the database and that the report is clean. Then I'm going to test this other file that has been known to fail these virus scanner tests and is used by big industry companies. I go here and I stage it. Once it's been staged, I again run the scanner. And as you can see, it's been blocked and that the report is infected. Here is just a history of the scanned items and their status, whether it was blocked or allowed. When you run it, you get a JSON file created, and here you can see the history of all the files that you've tried and whether or not they were clean or infected.